It's time for Coffee with Catalyst. Here's your host, Rich Ezzo.
Welcome everyone to Coffee with Catalyst. We're going to be doing a couple year-end wrap-up shows, and the first is on paid search. Today we have Lisa Hunter with us from our paid search department. She is the director of that and has some insights about the year to share with us. So welcome, Lisa.
I'm very glad to be here.
I'm sure you are. So, big year. Tell me what was the most surprising element or change you saw this year?
Well, interesting. For paid search specifically, we saw probably the largest change in how we actually execute accounts come this year from Google. So typically from a paid search perspective, the way in which we optimize and the way in which we look at accounts, we have things broken out very specifically because we need to get very, very granular with the keywords, the ad copy, the device that they're on. So we have always been trained to look at things separately. How is mobile doing? How is desktop doing? How are your AdWords and your keywords for those particular devices and channels doing? And so we get down to the nth degree of optimization, performance metrics, and making sure that everything is running full tilt within those different channels. This year, Google came back and said, that's nice, that's very interesting. However, we're going to change your entire world. We're now going to roll everything up into one, what I would consider an Uber campaign, and they called it enhanced campaigns. This way, you're now not looking at the very granular level. You're looking at desktop and tablet together, and you're looking at mobile as a vector against how your desktop and tablet are doing, which is very interesting. We're used to being able to set bids specifically for mobile and set bids specifically for tablet and for desktop. We can't do that anymore. Now you set one bid, and then you set a mobile adjustment to that bid. You have specific ad text for your keywords. We used to have mobile and desktop. They've changed it so now that we could do that, but when they first rolled this out, it was now everything was at one level. Drove most of us crazy because we're used to having more control over it. And so a lot of us were not very happy, and it took a lot of work for us to move our campaigns into this new enhanced way of doing things. And that was in the second quarter of this year. The reason for doing it, and I sort of understand where they're going, is so what's the benefit? If we're losing control, what's the benefit of moving to this model? The whole Google thought is that people are moving to really experiencing things online in multiple screen environments. So it shouldn't matter if you're on a mobile device or on an iPad or on your desktop. You need to be there when they are there. And so they wanted to layer on top of the campaign things like geolocation, device targeting, other targeting options, which would have made the way we were doing things so much more complicated that I don't think we would have been able to take advantage of all of the opportunity and features that Google was rolling out if we hadn't rolled up our campaigns into this enhanced campaign structure. So while the purists who've been doing this for a while weren't very happy to lose control, now that we've moved to it and we kind of see how it's working, you do lose control in some aspects, but you are able to take advantage of other things that I think put us into the next layer of how people are going to be using all of their digital devices.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, that was definitely a big change, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about any other elements? Anything else this year that came out?
The other thing, and it all usually revolves around Google, the other thing that Google has been introducing is on the search engine results page itself, they're becoming a bit more cluttered. They're becoming a bit more like Bing and Yahoo, insofar as they're adding more ad extensions. So it's not just the listing, it's the listing with additional links, it's the listing with reviews and ratings information, it's a listing with address and location information. So when you look at the search engine results page, instead of seeing 12 different listings, the top ones are paid, and then maybe a quarter of the way down the page you have organic, the paid listings are becoming larger and larger and taking up more real estate. So where you had two listings that maybe took up, just an eighth of the page, now they're taking up a quarter of the page, or they're taking up half the page because we're adding more and more things to those particular ads. They're also adding images, which they've never done before. And in some markets, they're actually testing it looks like a banner ad on the top of the Google page, which they have never done before. So we'll have to see how all of that plays out. They're testing it. They may decide to abandon it. They may take it and run with it in certain markets, or only for certain queries. So we'll have to see how that plays out. It may work very well for CPG clients, people who are looking for brand and brand awareness. It may not be such a play for direct response or B2B clients. So we'll have to see how that all, from a data perspective, works out from performance.
So we're entering the year end and approaching the new year. So if you were to look in your 2014 paid crystal ball,
Yes.
anything you see on the horizon that you have as a lookout for?
Well, I think coming back to the way Google is envisioning the world moving forward with a cross-device thought process, I think advertisers need to think about how they create experiences that can move across device. If I have started a search on my mobile phone and then I've moved to my tablet while I'm sitting in front of the television, and then I finish it when I'm up in the office or I'm at the office and working on my desktop, shouldn't the website that I'm looking at know that I've already done all of this information, or that I've done all of this research, and that I don't have to start over? So making sure that the mobile experience is seamless to the desktop experience, is seamless to the tablet experience. Different content, different information, because they are different devices and people use them differently, is important, but making sure that that experience runs throughout how the person is interacting, I think is going to be extremely important moving forward. Mobile has and will continue to play a huge part in our lives. The mobile penetration worldwide is increasing, and the increase in tablets is still continuing. We're going to just be connected all the time, and more people are going to be connected all the time, and Google is trying to get more and more people. I mean, they have their own way of getting cell phones out there, getting connectivity, and so they are trying to get more people online, which means more people are searching, and Google makes more money, which is always good for them, but that means that there's more opportunity. And so we need to take into consideration mobile a lot more, I think, than we have in the past, especially for clients or advertisers, who've sort of made it a secondary priority. It needs to become sort of their highest priority moving forward.
Sure. And will Lisa be asking Santa for some Google glasses?
Probably not Google Glasses. I'll probably, I'm not a first mover when it comes to technology, so we'll see how that all
Still
sort of plays out. Yeah, totally, yes. Connecting to the switchboard. Hi, Alice, could you connect me to? Yes, that is
one
me.
ringy dingy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's a good lead-in, because it happens to be time for
Coffee with Catalyst Comedy Corner.
Okay. All right, Lisa. I tend to ask folks what tells their favorite joke. I'm hoping you have one, and I brought one for you.
Okay, so it's a bad one because it came from my 6-year-old.
Oh.
But, well, it's, of course, it's a knock-knock joke. Knock, knock.
We've never had a knock-knock joke.
Okay, knock, knock.
We've never had a knock-knock joke. Oh, sorry. Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting.
Told you it was bad.
All right. Hey, thanks, Lisa. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
And, we'll have you on again next year.
Great.
All right.
Happy to be here.
Good. Thank you, everyone.
Join us next time for another edition of Coffee with Catalyst, right here at catalystsearchmarketing.com.